Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
And welcome back to our continuing coverage. This is the final stretch here at Infowars. Our great panel here, Jon Bowne and also Rob Dew. We've been bringing you all this marathon election coverage.
5.5 hours in.
Yeah, 5.5 hours in. We're trying to end about midnight Central Standard Time. And we do this with the support from our great viewers, people who log on to prisonplanet.tv, where you can get yourself a 15-day free trial. It supports our broadcast. It's what gives us the equipment to go out into the field, like you saw Joe Biggs out there earlier. Also, all the great stuff you see here in the studio, all the guys working behind the scenes. Can we get a control room shot to show all the guys out there working hard? This is what your money goes to.
That's Joe.
Joe goes to Joe Jennings.
He's doing all the work.
Yeah, there's Joe. He's doing our Skype stuff.
Working hard.
Also,
really hey,
there's Joe Biggs.
Biggs is back.
Yeah, Marcos, CJ, all
Nico,
the guys over there. So
Ricardo.
Yeah, that's what it goes to. So that's what you guys support. You go to prisonplanet.tv, or you go to the Infowars shop and you get some of our high-quality products. So like, Rob, dude, what do you have over there?
Look, check this out. The last 5.5 hours, 6, is brought to you by the Wake Up America blend. If you can get that on camera 4 over there, if that one's still up. Yeah, there it is. You have the Patriot blend and the Immune Support blend. This is what we've been drinking all night. Pots of coffee, keeping us moving and looking at all the news and trends that are going to affect you in this new, this new paradigm now that we have a Republican-controlled Senate and House. I don't think we're going to see much change.
No, I don't see much change in our future either, but we've been out here working like robots. And on the note of robots, you guys have a lot of news. We were talking about that. You teased that a little bit earlier today. We saw the was it the Wildcat or the big dog, whatever that robot was, the running robot, the things that parallel what you see in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, robots are going to be destroying us very soon. I predict within
or will be destroying robots.
There's going to be a fight, but it's not going to be bloody at first. At first, they're just going to start taking your jobs. You look at computer world. 1 in 3 jobs will be taken by software or robots by 2025. That's about 11 years away.
That's a heartbeat away.
And we hear that the greeters at some of your big chain stores, they're starting to be replaced by robots.
We're going to get to that.
That's incredibly
Could
important.
a robot do your job? USA Today. Well, you know, they're going to be writing newspaper articles coming up soon. Ping pong playing robot to seek factory job. This is out of Forbes. So they've taught robots how to play ping pong. China now has 30 industrial robot factories. Could double robot population by what? 2017.
Wow.
That's less than 3 years from now. DailyTelegraph.com. China, world's largest robotics producer. Gawker. Robots now replacing Chinese workers and U.S. fighter pilots. Yeah, and it's not just those. Those are the ones that are actually going to come out there and take you out when
fear in the hearts of the lazy.
Correctly. This is interesting. They've taught this group of robots here, these drones, how to fly in formation and do different maneuvers. So imagine surrounding you at that point and then tasing you. That's the future right there. Robots really are coming for your job, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing a baseball bat won't fix. Right?
Germany, thousands of jobs to be replaced by robots. Bound, you have some people whining about minimum wage.
Well,
what's going to happen?
I heard you guys talking earlier about the minimum wage jobs you endured. And I was a cook for a very long time. And, of course, I flipped many a burger. And now the robots are going to be flipping those burgers. Well, I tried to picture myself without a job, and there's a restaurant full of robots making hamburgers. And what are the robots doing when they get off of work? Are they getting in a car and going home to their robot families? Are they paying into the system? Who thought of this whole robot thing? Because it's stupid. It's stupid. The whole system is completely filled with stupidity. What contribution are the robots going to give humanity or themselves?
Well, the whole thing was that the robots are going to take the jobs that we don't want to do, and thereby freeing us up to do lots of other things.
Like not have a job.
Exactly. But then, you know, along with that is not going to be free rent and free food stamps, although they'll probably will have lots of food stamps for those people. But it's going to be, we're going to be destitute. Robots will be the worker class,
right?
And then there'll be an upper class of controllers.
Of course, yeah, right. And they'll belong to they'll belong to a select elite that will control them from their ivory towers, which we, as a population of destitute and starving people, unless we're taken out by Ebola or God knows what, SWAT teams, what they have planned for us, are going to come down. And I mean, what reality are they creating for themselves?
Yeah, and
this is the reality. We talk about it here all the time about the reality we're dealing with. What reality are these controllers creating for themselves? Because it's going to be an elite few, and they're going to be surrounded with their little robots. And there's going to be millions of us with children that we got to feed, with futures that we were going to have here in America, a place that was born of the individual, that was born of invention. We invented robots. We invented the hamburger, for crying out loud. We will invent going into that ivory tower and taking out the elite. I know that's maybe a little too out there or too positive to think, but if you think about it, what do they have going for them? How far can they protect themselves from what's coming to them?
Yeah, and the point I was going to make is when we think about, you know, everybody who's out there who may be skeptical, oh, robots aren't going to take over. Think about what happened with your big video stores, your big chains, and now you have what? Redbox.
Redbox.
And, you know, and
it's
Redbox
essentially a robot.
Yeah, it's very convenient, but, you know, it took away the job of the person who stocks the shelves,
Who
the
told
manager.
you about the new movies.
Yeah.
You might like this. You might like that. That personal service is now gone.
But then
it's all
again,
done with algorithms through Facebook.
But then again, there are people being paid at Netflix to make better movies than what's being made in Hollywood. You know, so as we as Americans invent, technology takes over and we move forward. But this is complete lunacy, where robots are going to protect this elite few. And by the way, the elite few, the number of global billionaires has doubled since this came out a few days ago, since the financial crisis in 2008. So billionaires are becoming more and more, they're entering a fantasy world where there's fewer and fewer of them and there's more and more of us. And we're not idiots. We're not your slaves. You're going to make your slaves and you're going to send them towards us and they're going to take our jobs and there's going to be 10 of you and there's going to be hundreds of millions of us. And so you either have to commit mass genocide on us or we're coming and we're going to change the whole thing back to the way it was, where people like Jakari and Rob Dew and the rest of you out there used your mind, your God-given humanity to create a place where the rest of us can live together in harmony.
But before that happens, I think we're going to have to deal with robots that are learning from insects, that are learning by themselves, that are becoming autonomous drones. We have a whole bunch of things. And who's at the heart of this now? Google, which is on a path to control information, is now also buying robot companies. They're building a robot army, and only Popular Science, you know, people like MBR are like, huh, Google's buying a bunch of robot companies. That's awesome. A hat tip to the future. Popular Science, kind of a bought-off organization, especially when it comes to 9/11 Truth. Why is Google building a robot army? And they go over the different robot companies that they bought. And essentially, they're buying things like Big Dog. They're buying the Cheetah. They're buying the little robot drones. But also, they're buying a sensor company. And we have a B-roll that these thermostats that you're going to have in your house that are going to be hooked up via USB or by Ethernet. The thermostats on your walls, the smoke detectors, all these are going to be little gadgets that are going to gather more information. If you thought your smartphone wasn't stealing information from you, well, they're just going to be implanting sensors in your home that are going to be getting all the data they need to sell you products. Of course, they won't be spying on you, but we know all that stuff.
Yeah, we saw the CIA director will spy on you through your dishwasher.
Through your dishwasher and through your smoke detector and through your thermostat It's all going to be coming down the pipe. They're going to be spying on you through your lights. Everything is happening at this point. And it just goes back to, after this election, what's going to happen with the economy? Are we going to see any big boost? Are there going to be more jobs created? Right now they're saying, well, Forbes came out with an article saying unemployment's at 5.8% now, but just 2 months ago it was at 12%. Mm-hmm. How does it drop that fast? Although we've seen no noticeable impact. It's just they're playing with the numbers. But don't worry, we got the illegals that they're going to give amnesty to, and they're going to pull us out of the housing crisis. They've got the mayor of San Antonio, who's on Obama's cabinet now, Julian Castro, who's basically said, hey, when we get these 11 million illegals, give them amnesty, they're going to be wanting to buy houses. So that's going to help us now. That's what's going to change the economy.
Okay.
I mean, it's total lunacy what we're doing, and that's all going to happen. And we're going to have that coming up. I guess if we get to it, we're going to have the Obama 5-finger death punch, which is going to happen right after the election.
Well, it makes you wonder with the Republican votes that we had, how many Democrats switched over to Republican, how many independents went to Republican, because it's getting so serious out there that people are getting desperate with Ebola and with everything that's going on, that somebody has to take charge. Well, I don't believe the Republicans are going to be able to take charge either. It's probably just going to be a greed fest as well.
I think you're going to see more of the same. You're going to see some lip service here right after the election, and then slowly it's going to fade away. The economy really wasn't a big issue for any of these guys. I don't think no wars were, that was not a big issue.
I didn't recall hearing that at all.
I don't see anybody saying we're going to stop funding terrorist groups like ISIS. None of that happened. John, you worked on an invention piece that we're going to have coming up, and then I think we're going to replay. Alex wanted us to replay the gun piece that we did where we went out and shot Brothers in Arms. It was Leanne, Alex, Shane Steiner, Weldon was out there, I was out there, Josh was out there. We blew up my TV. But John, go into your invention thing. Like, inventions are like the lifeblood of this country.
Yeah, I got a little ambitious. And I went and I tried to do basically a piece on all of the inventions, because Obama's speech about if you got a business, you didn't build that, really struck a nerve in everybody here. And we're constantly playing that piece over and over again. So I wondered just how many inventions we had here in America. How innovative have we been? And it's just ridiculous. I mean, we invented everything that we use. You name it, we invented it. The British beat us a little bit, and they claim to share a few inventions with us, but far and away, America and the ingenuity of the people that have been here for the short amount of time, really, that the United States has been here, have conducted an experiment that we're all a part of. And what it comes down to is the fact that it's about you, and it's about your creative inventiveness. It's about you not giving in to the socialist agenda and believing that what Obama is telling you in this speech, which could possibly be the stupidest and worst speech of a president of a human being, when you really dissect it, what he's telling you is for you to be his slave. And you as an American need to stand up and understand that you have the power to be creative. You have the power to invent. There are things that you need in your life that other people need that you can invent right now. And we've been inventing them from the beginning of this country, and it's got nothing to do with me getting help from this guy or getting help from this guy. I can go out and invent something on my own, by myself, get a patent, and it's me that did it. And that's what you are going to do with your life as well as an American if we stick with being the United States and get away from the controllers. So let's go to this report, and I want you at the end of this to stand up and cheer for you, because you are special.
If you've been successful, you didn't get there on your own. You didn't get there on your own. I'm always struck by people who think, well, it must be because I was just so smart. There are a lot of smart people out there.
Never leave till tomorrow, which you can do today. Benjamin Franklin.
It must be because I worked harder than everybody else. Let me tell you something. There are a whole bunch of hard-working people out there.
There is no substitute for hard work. Thomas Alva Edison.
If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help. There was a great teacher somewhere in your life.
Most pilots learn when they pin on their wings and go out and get in a fighter, especially that one thing you don't do. You don't believe anything anybody tells you about an airplane. Chuck Yeager.
Somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we had that allowed you to thrive.
Democracy is a pathetic belief in the collective wisdom of individual ignorance. H.L. Meekin.
If you got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
Nothing strengthens the judgment and quickens the conscience like individual responsibility. Elizabeth Cady Stanton.
Don't let anybody tell you that, it's corporations and businesses that create jobs. You know, that old theory, trickle-down economics. That has been tried. That has failed.
The internet didn't get invented on its own.
I took the initiative in creating the internet. I took the initiative in moving forward a whole range of initiatives.
There's some things, just like fighting fires, we don't do on our own. I mean, imagine if everybody had their own fire service. That'd be a hard way to organize fighting fires. So we say to ourselves, ever since the founding of this country, you know what, there's some things we do better together.
The basic philosophy between the so-called extreme left people, on communists and socialists, and the so-called philosophy on the right of the fascists and the Nazis was really the same. I said, how can this be? They're supposed to be opposites of each other. And then I began to realize that there is something more common to all of these philosophies that was left out of my training and education. And that was the ideology of collectivism. I began to realize that the thing that was common to them all is something called collectivism. Now, that's a word that is not very well used. It's not very entrenched in the vocabulary of most people today. But I found out that it was a very commonly used word about a century ago. People wrote a lot about collectivism, and the opposite of that would be individualism. Those are two words that are sort of abandoned today, but in my view, I think they need to be recaptured and understood and used more.
America is big enough to make room for many different kinds of thinking, but many liberals have claimed to see virtues in socialism and communism, which I, for one, have not been able to find. To promote their ideas, American liberals have become a highly organized, hardcore establishment in the United States. And they have been excusing their appeasement and coddling of communism on the ground that they were being tolerant, broad-minded, and working for peace.
Remember always that you not only have the right to be an individual, you have an obligation to be one. Eleanor Roosevelt.
City Hall, death and taxes. Don't talk about politics or religion. This is all the equivalent of enemy propaganda rolling across the picket line. Lay down, GI, lay down, GI. We saw it all through the 20th century. And now in the 21st century, it's time to stand up and realize that we should not allow ourselves to be crammed into this rat maze. We should not submit to dehumanization. I don't know about you, but I'm concerned with what's happening in this world. I'm concerned with the structure. I'm concerned with the systems of control. Those that control my life and those that seek to control it even more. I want freedom. That's what I want. And that's what you should want. It's up to each and every one of us to turn loose of just some of the greed, the hatred, the envy, and yes, the insecurities. Because that is the central mode of control. Make us feel pathetic, small. So we'll willingly give up our sovereignty, our liberty, our destiny. We have got to realize that we're being conditioned on a mass scale. Start challenging this corporate slave state. The 21st century is going to be a new century. Not the century of slavery, not the century of lies, issues with no significance, and classism, statism, and all the rest of the modes of control. It's going to be the age of humankind standing up for something pure and something right. What a bunch of garbage, liberal, Democrat,
All right, for our last segment here, we're going to take a look and see what is really going to change. Of course, we had 10 seats gained in the House by the Republicans so far. We've had 7 seats, I believe, in the Senate, so it's a solid change over to a Senate majority. And we've heard in the last couple of days, Romney and now, distressingly, Rand Paul say that they're going to try to push these trade treaties through. And let's understand that the Trans-Pacific Partnership, as well as the Transatlantic partnerships, are much more than trade agreements. They are a backdoor way to get in CISPA, which has failed over and over again in all its variants. CISPA, ACTA, SOPA, PIPA. There's been multiple initiatives to try to exert government control in order to serve the copyright interests of large corporations. And so that's just one aspect. Of course, there's also Big Pharma's got a dog in that fight, as well as Monsanto. And the thing that concerns everyone, should concern everyone, is the fact that these negotiations are being conducted in secret by corporate lobbyists, and our elected representatives are not in attendance, not even allowed to know what's going on. They've had a couple of instances where they've been given a glimpse of the bills, but they are not allowed to talk about that. Isn't that amazing that this would be done like that?
Yeah, it's all done in secret.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Fast track it.
It's just another version of Agenda 21. You know?
So what's going to happen with this? I mean, certainly we see that going back to the marijuana initiatives, it now looks like the Oregon is now going to join Colorado and Washington in legalizing that, as well as the District of Columbia. California looks like they're going to push through Prop 47, which would reduce penalties for nonviolent crimes. So it would take things like drug possession, and if it was nonviolent, it would not have it be a felony, but it would reduce it to a misdemeanor and say that you could not put people in jail for more than a year. That's a direct reaction to the extremism of the war on drugs and this madness of mandatory minimums that's been with us since the Reagan administration.
Yeah, it really has, and it's destroyed countless lives. They've confiscated millions and billions of dollars of property from people without even getting a conviction. In most cases, it's just, we're going to arrest you and take your house or take your car. And
so what's up with that? I mean, certainly people have had enough. They're starting to realize the issue behind prohibition. It doesn't work, okay? Alcohol prohibition didn't work. It didn't change. It didn't stop people from drinking, okay? What it did was it gave us organized crime. It gave us vast amounts of corruption. And the war on drugs has been far worse than that because under Reagan, they started targeting users instead of the gangs that were running the illegal prohibited.
Right, the gangs were allowed to run with impunity.
Exactly.
Nobody wanted to go up against them because they had guns.
Yes, yes. And of course, unlike prohibition, I don't know what the government's involvement in prohibition was, but certainly we didn't have the U.S. military making alcohol in foreign countries and trucking it in order to fund black ops, which is what they did with crack cocaine and now with heroin in Afghanistan. We talked about that at length last night. I found it very interesting that the Obama administration came before the UN, and of course we've had Jim Gierach from Law Enforcement Against Prohibition on the show multiple times. Last time I had him on, he was talking about this UN drug prohibition regime and how they were trying to fight this UN treaty. And now the Obama administration is saying that they want some flexibility because the UN came in and tried to rescind these legalization initiatives that passed in Colorado and Washington in the last election. And so what he's saying is it looks like some of these things are going to pass, and so we want to have a little bit of flexibility. They refer to the planetary agreements that are underpinning all this stuff. So maybe, like we saw with alcohol prohibition, once they had a massive economic collapse in the Depression, they legalized it. Maybe that's why they're looking at drug legalization.
Well, if you do any looking into the UN, these people, especially in New York, are some of the biggest drug dealers in the world.
Yeah.
They can truck stuff in. They're not allowed to be searched. These people have diplomatic immunity. They walk around with cases of cocaine. I mean, I've read people from insiders, stories from insiders. They said it was ridiculous, the amount of drug use and the amount of drug dealing that went on out of New York, out of that Rockefeller-donated piece of property that has the gun tied up in a knot in front of it. So these people don't want any freedom of any kind, but they want to rule you and do whatever they want.
Yes.
It's disgusting. Let's finish up real quick on Obama's five-finger death punch. These are the things that we think are going to happen, you know, that they're waiting for after this election. One, I think we're going to see a big spike in Ebola cases. I think that's going to be a guaranteed. 2 executive orders on guns, coal, the Bo Bergdahl report's about to come out. That should be interesting. I think Obamacare is going to get expanded. And then you're going to have also the illegal amnesty that they're just ramping up. They've already talked about the green cards that they've printed. And then who knows? They're going to keep putting the pressure on Putin. And that might start World War III. And then they could go after Iran and go after the other groups that they want.
And the Republicans are going to rabidly support that.
They would love another war because their friends are the ones who got them into office, the military-industrial complex.
We're also going to see that we're going to see a step back from any kind of complaints about what the NSA is doing to people, what the CIA is doing to people. We're going to have a change of leadership in the Senate Intelligence Committee. And so so things are not turning towards liberty right now. So check back with us. That's the end of our broadcast.
Yep. We're going to end it with the gun report. We're going to Leanne firing off bazookas and such, blowing up televisions, and my weapon is a camera. So.
And I will say, as of right before we stepped in the studio, Dan Bongino did win his race.
Oh, that's good. Maryland. That's very positive.
We know we got one.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
He was barely up. He was up by a percentage point. So that's it. Thank you for joining us for these 6 hours. We started 6 hours ago now, and it's been a pleasure to be with you. We're glad you could join us. And we'll see you next time we do something like this. We'll be back here tomorrow with the Infowars Nightly News. I believe Jakari will be in the hot seat. Absolutely. So thanks for joining us. Infowars.com.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it.
Part of every day, some kind of anti-violence, anti-gun message.
But I also believe that a lot of gun owners would agree that AK-47s belong in the hands of soldiers, not in the hands of criminals.
We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
It's always been about libertarians, conservatives, constitutionalists, gun owners, returning veterans in the training manuals. You're the target of the mafia because you are a real American. You know about the Bill of Rights and Constitution. Low taxes, states' rights. You are diametrically opposed. So you either roll over to the mafia and let them rob you, or you're going to be listed as a terrorist. I got a better idea. We're going to expose you as the mafia. We're going to expose you as a bunch of crooks trying to steal our liberties.
All right, on your mark, get set. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my God! Ah! I got 3, baby. Load it!
You can keep both eyes open. So when you bring it up, just relax, take a deep breath, and then kind of exhale as you squeeze the trigger. Are you ready?
Yeah!
Nice.
You never missed, McAdoo. McAdoo, you've shot, I guess, a shotgun one time when you were checking out Central Texas Gun Works, but this is your first time shooting a rifle, second time shooting, period. Is it that big a deal?
It was like cuddling a little baby bunny in my shoulder. It's like snuggly bunny.
Was it fun?
It was pretty fun. It's kind of exhilarating.
Because you were a little nervous coming out here, a little gun phobic.
Very nervous.
Have you been converted?
I needed to test out a few more.
So you still don't know if you like guns?
I like guns. I just need to know what kind of gun is the right gun for me.
We're going to let you shoot a .223 in a minute. That is what Joe Biden says women shouldn't get. It is the perfect gun for a woman.
You know, guess what? A shotgun will keep you a lot safer. a double-barrel shotgun than the assault weapons in somebody's hands who doesn't know how to use it, even one who does know how to use it. You know, it's harder to use an assault weapon and hit something than it is a shotgun, okay?
So we're going to have you shoot that. We're going to do some other stuff, and we're going to blow a television up later.
Fantastic.
All right, good.
Have you ever shot a pistol before?
Yes.
Okay, so you know you put this dot in between these dots and put all three of them on the target. Now, if you look down this sight, you can see how you can see right down the sights. This one, the suppressor covers it up, but it still serves its purpose because you can still overlap them over the target. It just takes a little getting used to. I'm going to load it up for you, and then
chamber around. There you go.
There you go. There you go. Go ahead.
Again. You shot a little to the right. Yeah.
Woo! Had a little bit of a kick. Might need to work on my upper body strength a little bit. Be able to handle that machine, but I like it with the silencer. I feel kind of like a gangster, like a mobster, you know, like I should be a...
Hitman.
Yeah.
But does it sound like it does in the movies? It doesn't make that chirping. It's not silent.
Yeah. No, it's definitely
it sounds
not.
like a loud air rifle is what it sounds like.
You definitely still hear that in a hotel or something.
All right.
The movies lie to us once again.
On your mark. Set. Go.
Weldon and I literally tried to hit that half-pound charge for an hour.
We've been trying to shoot that half-pound charge all day, Leanne, and you come out here and shoot from the hip. Boom!
Like a Mac do.
That's America.
Mark!
Sorry, Gloria Steinem. The women are getting the guns.
Okay, you ready? Get it. Ready? Steiner got it. Holy hell! That's what's happening to dinosaur media as we fire bullets of truth into their sack of rotting lies. Yeah! Freedom! The Republic! Human liberty! Symbols are powerful, and the globalists have hijacked the symbols of America. They've turned them into their own symbols. Well, we are restoring the idea of the true republic, not the counterfeit globalist empire, by promoting the icon George Washington and others. That's why we're rolling out an 100% made in America line of incredible pro-liberty apparel. We are repopularizing liberty. We are helping fellow Americans rediscover what made this country great. We are the spirit of 1776. We are 1776 worldwide. We are all brothers and sisters in arms in the animating contest of liberty in the long march towards humanity's ultimate destiny of freedom. Visit madein1776.com today and vote with your dollars to promote truly made in America, high-quality products, and promote the ideals of liberty.
Yes, these men that hypnotize followers call this a new order. It is not new.
and it is not order.